Tonight I'm going to be talking about the newest entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain Feminism. Aww. What? Is that feminism? What is it, huh? Sorry, Captain Marvel. Ooh, hit it. What's going on, friends? Logan Myerz here for Cinephellas.com. Really excited to talk about the newest movie I just saw last night, opening night, Thursday night. Checked out the newest entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the introduction of a character we've been highly anticipating for some time. She's been talked about all over social media, and she's going to be the superhero, the savior for the next phase in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm talking about Captain Marvel, starring Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, and the list goes on and on. The film was directed by Annette Boden and Ryan Fleck. They're more of an independent filmmaker, so it's really cool that they got a major motion picture, a big studio. So we're introduced to Carol Danvers, played by Brie Larson. We see some flashbacks of her throughout the movie, but really seeing her where she was in her past life and where she's at. She's been with this alien species called Brie. It's headed by Jude Law's character Yon-Rogg, and he's a real total manipulative asshole, like in most of his roles. But this guy always plays a really good villain. He's really great in this movie. She ends up on Earth in 1995 and really sets up a lot of the atmosphere of this film. It's, takes place in the 90s. Very nostalgic for me, so I really enjoyed it. Early on in the film, lots of the music, lots of the nostalgia they threw into it. Blockbuster felt like it ripped out my heart. My still beating heart, because I remember going there on Friday nights, renting a bunch of VHS tapes, getting candy, all that good stuff. That's how life was back then, so it was really cool that she crashes into Blockbuster. Early on, we were introduced to a very young Nick Fury when he was with a young agent with a shield, and then we're also introduced to Coulson. Both of these guys, they use de-aging technology, which are also going to be used in the new Scorsese flick, The Irishman, to make Pacino and De Niro look super young. But in this movie, they did this to Samuel L. Jackson and Coulson. Reminded me of Samuel L. Jackson and Pulp Fiction back then. A lot of really great visual effects in this movie and using this technology. So you have Agent Coulson and you have Fury that come across Carol Danvers after she crashes back on Earth. They're questioning her and figuring out who she is and where she came from. And it sets up a lot of the story with Carol Danvers' character. You see her being a young girl, to her training in the Air Force, to being up in space in this other galaxy, being a member of the Kree, and then coming across other alien species and then landing back here. So there's a lot of flashbacks in the movie, but it's not over the top. Like other films like Batman versus Superman, where you kind of get lost in the shuffle, but not in this film. I don't think they do it too much, but enough to give you that information and kind of give Carol Danvers her backstory. This is her origin story. For people like myself that don't really know much about Captain Marvel, it was a really good setup in the origin story of this character and how she came across the shield. And I will say, Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson had this great chemistry throughout this film, of them riding in the car together, wherever they're at, just a lot of comedy, and they really feed off one another. It really sets up the overall kind of feel of this movie with the relationship and, throwing a lot of comedy in here. And it's lighthearted at times, but, I was really surprised by that. I couldn't believe how much I laughed in Captain Marvel, and I did not expect that. Another alien species that's a pivotal part of this movie is the Skrull. This alien species is headed by Ben Mendelsohn's character, Talos, and he was really fucking hilarious in this movie. We're all used to seeing Ben Mendelsohn and all these like evil performances and villainous characters, but he was really a great part of this movie. He was one of the best parts of the supporting cast of this movie, just because, early on in the movie, you kind of don't like them because of Skrulls. You think they're all evil, and it kind of all changes throughout the movie, but you see his real personality, and he's really down to earth, and he's really comedic, and he has great, conversations with Captain Marvel. You can kind of see a relationship between these species, and some of the humans, you could see it develop throughout the movie. But throughout the film, there's a lot of momentum built, there's a lot of story, there's a lot of action. This is a Marvel movie, there's going to be over-the-top action, and you get to see Brie Larson playing Carol Danvers and being Captain Marvel and kicking some ass, but it takes a little while to find what she's looking for. When she's down on Earth, she's trying to find her superpowers to use those in this war that's happening between these two alien species. And, it takes a little longer than I wanted it to for her to find these powers and to come out of her shell. The last act of the movie where you actually see her in her attire, her Captain Marvel attire, her superpowers. I mean, it's phenomenal. The fighting is just top notch. The visual effects team on this movie did a great job. I mean, it's one of the best parts of the movie when you see this like galaxy and galactic war, and you know, this fighting on Earth and planes and things like that. It was just really well done, and it brings you in as an audience into this galaxy. They really depict well in the third act of the movie. And I had a really good time with Brie Larson playing Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel. At first I was kind of on the fence about this movie. A lot of the standalone movies, I don't know, I just never really get that excited about them. So I went into the film with, you know, open mind, and, you know, honestly, from the beginning to the end, with, you know, building this atmosphere in the 90s, I think, you know, Brie Larson really sold me on this character, made me more interested in, you know, Captain Marvel, and making me want to read into this character, look into this character more, revisit a lot of the older comics, and see how that was adapted into the big screen. And I really liked her performance in this movie. I thought she had a great relationship and chemistry with Nick Fury, and you know, you see their friendship, and you know, it really develops throughout the movie, and also with the other supporting cast, you know, with Ben Mendelsohn's character. And Jude Law, again, was really good in this movie as the antagonist. Characters, I don't want to say who, that are from other Marvel films, Guardians of the Galaxy, that show up in this movie, so you got to keep your eyes open. Some Easter eggs in there. And overall, it was just a really good time, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with the final product of Captain Marvel. If you guys go to see this, definitely stick around for the credits, the mid-credits, and the post-credits. There's a little treat in there for you. I don't want to say too much, but it maybe has something to do with the next film that's coming out in the Marvel Universe, Endgame. So the visual effects of the cast was amazing. The comedy was there. The relationships depicting this era, this time in the 1990s. The set design and the music really captured that, you know, and showing a younger Nick Fury and a younger Coulson with the de-aging technology. And this took place before, you know, a lot of the other Marvel films. So I'm going to give the newest entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain Marvel, a 4 out of 5 superhero hair pieces. So if you guys have seen Captain Marvel, what did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What do you think is going to happen in Avengers Endgame? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myerz signing out from space with old Aunt Brie Larson. Until the next video review. Cheers!